Welcome to the Hilton Head Living Podcast. I am your host, O.T. Gibbons. Our mission with all of our content is to make sure you have the best time in Hilton Head. All the best places to go, all the biggest events going on, and everything you need to know to get the most out of your time on the island. I am joined as always by the star of our content, my beautiful wife and co-host, Jessica Gibbons. How you doing, Jess?
Hi.
All right, on this week's episode of the podcast, we're going to be covering everything happening in Hilton Head in April. Huge month on the island, a lot going on. We're going to be talking about our favorite new thing that we tried last week. And as always, we're going to answer the people. So with that, Jess, what's going on in Hilton Head in April?
Symphony Under the Stars will take place on April 1st at Low Country Celebration Park, beginning at 7:30, and they will be playing Broadway hits. Movie Night in the Park, which is a free event, will take place at Oscar Fraser Park in Bluffton on April 4th. Kids' activities will start at 5, and the movie Despicable Me will start at 6. And make sure to bring lawn chairs or blankets or whatever else you need to enjoy the movie. Washington Square in Bluffton is hosting a Spring in the Park on April 5th. It's a free family-friendly event which will have food trucks, live music, and lots of kids' activities like bounce houses and face paintings. And that will take place from 3 to 7. Enjoy Beaufort's Low Country Food Truck Festival in Port Royal on April 5th, beginning at 11 a.m. And there'll be over 20 food trucks, live music, and art vendors that you can shop from. Pulseology's Golden Egg, a 5K fun run and walk, will take place on April 5th, beginning at 8:30 a.m. And after the fun run, there'll be an Easter egg hunt, which sounds like a lot of fun. And they'll also have kids' activities like face painting and a bouncy house too. Join the Hilton Head Audubon to meet the owls on April 6th. It is a free event unless you want to hold an owl on your arm, which is awesome. And that's only $7 and you need to register in advance. The Bluffton Shop Hop will take place on April 10th. And then there's a bunch of events on the 12th. A lot of Easter events. Old Town Bluffton will have a spring fling, which will have the Easter Bunny. There's the Easter Extravaganza in Shelter Cove Park. The Village at Wexford will be hosting a shop hop. Sea Pines will be having a Bunny Express train. And Bluffton's Easter Egg Hunt. And that will all be on the 12th of April. The 17th and 18th, there will be Easter wagon rides in Sea Pines. And then on the 19th, the Salty Dog will have an Easter egg hunt. Then you can take pictures with the Easter Bunny at Island Child on the 19th. There'll be Easter egg hunt in Sea Pines on the 20th. RBC Heritage Golf Tournament will take place from the 17th to the 20th. There'll be a beach sweep at Coligny Beach to celebrate Earth Day on the 22nd. And the 25th will be the summer kickoff to the Bluffton Sunset Parties. Prom night will also take place on the 25th at the Fred Astaire Dance Studio. The Coastal Discovery Museum will host their annual art market on the 26th and the 27th. Music and Taste on the Harbor will take place at Shelter Cove Harbor and Marina every Thursday in April from 6 to 9. And the Greg Russell Spring Concerts are back every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday until April 11th. From 7:30 to 9 underneath the Liberty Oak Tree in Sea Pines.
Woo! Spring is officially here. Hilton Head is hopping. All kinds of events going on. Make sure to sign up for our newsletter. The link is in our bios on our social medias to not miss any of the things going on Hilton Head Island. Okay, so that's everything happening this weekend in Hilton Head Island. Now let's go back to last week and talk about our favorite new thing that we tried last week. So as part of a paid partnership with Hilton Head Island Wine and Food Festival, we went to all of their events this past week, and it was a blast. Jess, you want to start with kind of what we started with this week, and we can talk about everything we did.
We started with craft beers by the beach at the Westin, and Westin is beautiful. It was right basically on the beach almost. So you had a beautiful backdrop. It was a gorgeous day. They had live music playing, and they mainly had craft beers from local breweries. But they did have some wine and seltzers that you could purchase there and food for purchase.
They had this white tablecloth area that you could sit down in. They had all these different tents that you could go visit. The band I had never seen or heard of before, and they were extremely talented. They had a couple awesome riffs going. Just a really good time. Really enjoyed it.
And then on Wednesday, we went to Sip and Stroll at the shops at Sea Pines. So that whole, if you've ever been there, that whole kind of corridor was filled with vendors. Either there's wine vendors. This one had a little more kind of crafts, artsy vendors, and a lot of the stores had sales going on, or they'd have clothing outside on racks. So it was a nice little sip and stroll. You got to kind of shop while you were tasting wines. And Kaylee Rose is playing. She's amazing. Like, even live, she was so good.
She had a great personality. She was funny. She had a whole thing going. She was great, very talented. And then, yeah, Jess isn't exaggerating. If you've ever been to the Sea Pine Shopping Center, it's a pretty long walk from one end to the other, and it was packed with different vendors all the way up and down to where it really was a stroll. Like, you really could take your drink and just walk all the way around this entire layout. It was really great. They had a lot of different things. They had that lemonade that you loved that you were trying, and it was awesome.
And finally, we went to my favorite event on the island, the public tasting, as part of the Hilton Head Wine and Food Festival, which takes place at Low Country Celebration Park. And if you've been there, you know it's a huge place, and it was covered with vendors. So many. There was so much. There was wine, there was craft beers from local breweries, there were seltzers, there were spirits, there was food, which I feel like, so this is my third year going, and I feel like each year there's more and more, and this year there was a lot more food. There was hibachi, there was pizza, there was Board and Basket, usually does a cup of charcuterie stuff. They had a skewer of it, which is so much easier to eat with, like, if you just only have one hand. If you filled out a really quick survey, you got a glass holder that went around your neck, so it held your glass for you really easily. There were art vendors there. There was jewelry. There was the live music, the band Federal. They do a jazz kind of style on songs you know. They are so much fun.
They had the 360 photo. They also had the food demonstrations, which were really cool. I didn't realize that I was sitting there filming the food demonstrations, and they had little snacks coming out, like the food that he was talking about making. They're bringing it out for tastings as well. It was really cool. And then Sprout Mama's has like the best bread on the island, and I didn't even know that they made pizza. They had like pizzas out, which were delicious. It really was amazing seeing the crowd of people waiting outside to get in, but then when you're inside, it doesn't feel overly crowded. I had never been before. I had only dropped Jess off, and I do have to say, I can see why it's her favorite event on the island. It is arguably the best event on Hilton Head Island.
Yeah, I really love the 360 video thing. You know, you stand in the middle and the camera goes around you. That was new this year. I thought that was so fun. I kept doing it. I think people got annoyed with me that I kept hogging it.
And you must be 21 or older to attend, and please drink responsibly. All right, and as always, we're going to answer the people. And the question we've been getting most often lately is about the Harbour Town Shops and Restaurants. So Jess, tell the people about the Harbour Town Shops and Restaurants.
Well, I think the most famous one, or the one that everybody knows about, is Quarterdeck. They have the gorgeous view. It's a great place to see a sunset. But they also have a to-go market, which has like some sandwiches, salads, and they also have a ton of ice cream. It's like an ice cream shop in there. So for a hot summer day, it's a great place to go.
They have tremendous views of the 18th hole at Harbour Town, overlooks the water. It's so gorgeous. Definitely recommend checking it out if you are here for a weekend or a week visiting. Definitely worth it.
And then another great place that has ice cream is the Cinnamon Bear Country Store. And they also have like little treat goodies in there. Harbor Side is basically right out in the middle. It's all outside. You just see tables outside kind of thing. And they have usually live music going on, and it's usually only open during the on season. Right next to that is Crazy Crab. Great seafood, delicious. We've been there a ton. We love it there. And then you have the Harbour Town Bakery, which has delicious breakfast pastries, and they have good lunch items too. It's a great place to get a coffee. And then right behind that, it's a little hidden, is CQ's, which is a great place for dining, date night, a little bit nicer fine dining. And you also have Links, which overlooks the golf course. And that's a little more fine dining, delicious steaks there. They have really good food there. So if you want a little bit of a nicer dress up dinner, and it has gorgeous views. Oh, and they have a great brunch too. And they have the outdoor area that overlooks the golf greens there.
Yeah, you can also have lunch at the secret spot in the men's locker room upstairs on the second floor, overlooking the golf course. Great spot to grab a drink, maybe before dinner, sit out on the golf course and look around. And two things I love about Harbour Town, I know they're not restaurants or shops, but the Liberty Oak Tree, where they're always having concerts. The Greg Russell concerts are there. They're always having events. We did New Year's there. Always something going on over there. Great to check out. And then we have nieces and nephews. It's my favorite playground. It's shaded. So, not loving the South Carolina summer heat. You can sit there in the shade. Kids come around. It's got like a tree fort thing also that they can kind of climb up in. But it's really cool for them to be able to run around. And it's like you got the sand there and it's really big. Fits a lot of people. Definitely a playground to check out.
And then also by the Liberty Oak Tree during the summer is the Loco Taco Truck. They have delicious tacos. You can get just one, you can get a bunch that are really good. But again, they're only there for basically the summertime. So if you see them out there, definitely get their tacos. And then so for the shops, there's a lot of shops there, but I'm going to just say more of like souvenirs. So it's like if people are visiting, there are great women's boutiques and men's too for clothing. But if you're visiting here and you want a souvenir, there's Camp Hilton Head, which has a lot of clothing or hats that say Hilton Head Island on them. Great place for that. There is the Harbour Town Surf Shop. So it's a fun, like beachy little shop you can go into for fun stuff. Then there's the Harbour Town Christmas Shop, which is where I go to whenever I'm visiting somewhere for souvenirs. I do have an ornament from when we were just visiting here that I got from there. And there's the newer Starboard Shop, which everything in there has the little lighthouse logo on it. So that's fun. So very Hilton Head-esque. And then one other thing that I love is the lighthouse actually has a little shop in the bottom of it, and then you can walk to the top of it. And at the observational deck outside, you can look over all of Harbour Town. You can see to Defusky. You can even see to Savannah when it's a nice day out. So that's a fun thing to do. And it's only about 5 levels, I believe, and on each level there's educational information or historical information about Hilton Head. So that's just a fun little to do.